Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Detail. We're going to make an attempt to remove about a 2-foot wiper mark. Rather shallow, not very deep. So the pick of the day will be 3D 521 Cerium Oxide Glass Polish. Made for removing swirls, hollow wiper marks, scratches, and water spots. Let's give it a shot today. Let me get you in and see if I can get you an angle. There, you should be able to see that. Starts here and goes all the way up. Get it to focus. All the way up to here. So here down to about there. Let me get the, should be able to see it just a little bit better there. Yep, right there. So that's what we're going to be working on, and we'll use the 3D 521. Now you could use the cerium oxide, matches up well with the rayon pads, 3D, and a few other companies have them. I do have another gloss pad made more for clearing off coatings, water spots, and just cleaning up glass, but I believe this will work. We just have to be patient, and I'm going to go over being patient with glass. Let me gear up here, get the gloves on, and we'll get to work. Cerium oxide it's an abrasive that's rather aggressive, and it has to be for attacking jobs on glass. Glass is hard to correct, hard to polish, and this is gritty to the touch. Has the tendency to dust, but when you're going after marks on glass, that's the least of your worries. I'll explain why. Now you can use the rotary, you can use a dual action polisher. For glass, I like to use the forced driven polishers. Here we have the XCE8, and I'll get the pad attached and we'll load up the pad. But the reason you want to be patient and mindful on glass is you have 2 panes of glass, and in between is a laminate or a thin plastic film, slightly tinted. And if you heat that up and distort it, and that's in the vision of the driver, that's not going to be a very fun ride. So you want to keep the polisher moving. Don't hover in one area and just heat one area where the rest of the glass, the ambient temperature is cooler. That's where you get the distortion. Keep the polisher moving, but be patient, because it may take 2, 3, 4 passes depending on how deep the wiper mark is on glass. There are some that are just going to be too deep to go after. The shallow ones, water spots, always going to be the easier task or the easier job for you. Let's attach the pad and get going. Shake up vigorously. A very thick, rich formula. Shake it up for a minute or 3. Load up the pad a bit more than you normally would polishing paint. Spread it out throughout the wiper mark, and let's get to it. Speed between the 3rd and 4th speed setting. And again, be patient, but keep the polisher moving. Now this seems to have a longer cycle time or open time, which means the amount of time you can work the polisher without just going crazy and dusting all over the place. So I'm going to keep going. We'll wipe off the residue, see where we're at, and I'm quite sure it's going to be a few passes before we get to that one mark especially. Well, I can still see it here, so it's definitely going to take another pass or two. Warm to the touch. I'm going to grab something to show you the heat that we get in the areas. What's up, girl? Who's coming? Watch him. I want to show you the heat we get in the areas that we're polishing compared to the rest of the glass. What you're going to see are the blue, then green, then red. Red being, of course, the warmest part. If you want to back up slowly to give them reference. So those areas in red, those are the areas you want to be mindful of. Keep the polisher moving, don't hover in one spot. Those are the areas that have a risk of that laminate in the middle of the two panes of glass distorting. Then it's done. Okay, so when you've gotten it to a point where you've either removed the mark altogether or you're satisfied enough with the results, and as you can see, no distortion. We didn't hurt the thin plastic membrane between the two panes of glass. But what we do have to take into consideration now is, with all that polishing, we have removed his existing protection. So now we need to prep the windshield and make it look uniform again with protection. For that, we're going to be using Blue Collar 5. That is our glass coating. Keeps the glass cleaner longer. It's hydrophobic, teams up with the wipers to keep the glass clear during inclement weather of any kind. I highly recommend, and I'm going to have a link for both the Cerium Oxide Polish and the coating down below. Prepping the glass. Wash, clay, polish if and when it's needed. Time to recoat. The first pass, we're really going to load up that pad. Get it on there thick, don't hold back. What are you saving it for? Load up the pad again. Straight lines. All the way reaching as far as you can. If it's past the center point of the windshield, that's fine. We're going to overlap when we get to the other side. Now we'll do the crisscross just to ensure that the coating is applied evenly. It's already starting to rainbow. Let's get to the other side. Now that the applicator is quite saturated with product. Just one line down the middle will do. And we should be able to get halfway up the windshield. Load it up again, continue. By the time you're finished here with this size glass, it's going to be time to grab your towels, go over to the other side where you started and start to wipe off the transfer solution. That'll do it. 2 towels. First one, mop up some of that transfer solution. That's how we get the coating from the bottle to your glass. Second one, buff to perfection. Easiest stuff to wipe off. Immediately feel the slickness. Other side. And we're done.